Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. In this episode, we're going to go over encouraging transfers and where those transfers end up. I've always been curious to know if they actually go to a school. I've checked on a few, but I haven't really followed to see where a lot of the guys end up. So to start, I brought in a recruiting class of 35. This Kansas Jayhawks Dynasty is one that I kind of just run on my own. So we are well into this Dynasty. I think we're in 2041. But you can see the recruiting class. I intentionally brought in 35. I think we got 7 5-stars here, a lot of 4-stars, a lot of good gems, just a good recruiting class that is going to force me to encourage a lot of transfers. And again, just for context here, again, the best class in the country, 7 5-stars, 15 4-stars, 13 3-stars. So we maxed out our recruiting board, brought in as many guys as we could with the intent of kind of doing this episode and encouraging transfers. So that's a quick look at the recruiting class and the guys coming in that are going to force some other guys out. All right, we'll move on to training results. Okay, so one thing I want to mention as you're encouraging transfers, and one thing that I think that is missed a lot is making sure you understand what your team has as far as your roster goes. So a perfect example here in my team is my running back situation. I brought in the number 1 running back recruit. I've got 2 redshirt freshmen, 2 redshirt sophomore ahead of him. It's a stacked backfield, and I'm going to have to make a cut here most likely. All right, I brought in 35 guys. I'm guessing I'm going to have to cut, 15 to 20. Quick side note, and I know a lot of you probably know this, but as you're bringing in recruits, if you don't want to continually make, 20 cuts, just make sure you know how many guys are leaving, potential guys leaving for the draft, so you don't have to make those massive cuts unless you want your guys to go to different teams and kind of even out the talent and the overall in different teams. But we're going to find out where these guys go anyway, so you can kind of see, hopefully, where they go. I've heard it goes alphabetically, but I haven't really looked into it. So we'll find out here together. Okay, so back to checking your roster. Again, we've got redshirt freshmen, redshirt sophomores. I feel pretty good about Gibson, Nall, and Goodwin. Waddle and Abreu, I think I have to decide between. So again, come in here, check their development trait. All right, Waddle's maybe kind of hitting his limit here as an impact guy. His stats look very similar to Abreu. Abreu's got more physical skills, more mental skills. If he's a better development, which he is, a star dev, a lot more room for growth. All right, so that makes my decision easier when it comes to cut time. I would just make a note of possible cuts that D Waddle and running back would be one if I get to that position. And as I started this dynasty, I just kept track of the development traits of guys that were impact star or elite. And then as my players got better and recruiting got better, then I just started writing down who's star and who's elite, because that impact development, sometimes they cap out pretty fast. So checking development trait, checking caps, and then I would check Farrier and Ahmed as well, because they're kind of pushing, Waddle and Abreu. They're not far behind. So let's check out Quincy here. He's an impact dev. He's got room for growth and power, IQ, route running, but again, that power doesn't move so fast. He's got some good physicals in the gold. And we check out Ahmed. He's a power back. He's normal dev. So room for IQ, elusiveness, and some route running. So after looking at development trait and caps, I would lean towards cutting Ahmed and keeping Quincy. So I'm not going to go through all that with every position. I just think it's important to cover, because I do see some YouTubers kind of miss that when they go through their cuts. They just go through right to encourage transfers and they're like, oh shoot, I don't know who I want to cut. And just stopping at training results, getting into your roster. You can view the player cards. Obviously freshmen you can't see player cards at this stage, but you don't need to because you can't cut them anyways, as well as I think transfer portal guys. But the guys you've had on, you can really dive in, figure out who you want to keep, who's going to progress better, who's going to fit your program the best. So before encouraging transfers, get in here, check your dev traits, check your caps, decide who you want to keep, and also pay attention to how many guys you need to bring in so that you don't have to make as many cuts. All right, moving on. All right, so now we're at encouraged transfers. We've looked at our roster. We understand kind of the guys that have potential to be cut. Again, we didn't dive into that here because we're just trying to get to encouraging transfers and following them to their new team. So I'm going to go through. I'm going to make Looks like 22 cuts, which is a lot. If you've had 10 to 15 cuts to make that, it gets difficult as you get towards kind of the last 5, 7 cuts. Like, it really gets difficult. I always joke that it's one of the most difficult parts of the game if you bring in too many recruits. Again, I like to be aware of how many I'm bringing in, unless it's early on and I really have to kind of bring in a whole new set of recruits to elevate my roster. So I'll make cuts here. I'm going to write down the name and the position, and then we'll check in and see where these guys ended up, if they ended up anywhere. So I know running back wise, I'm cutting Waddle, I'm cutting Ahmed, but the rest of them I'll go through here, and I'll maybe speed this up in editing, so you can see maybe who I cut, and then you'll see them when we track them down again anyway. So I will see you on the other side of these cuts. Alright, so I got a little carried away. Cut one more guy that I needed to, but we're at 84 out of 85. I'm wondering if one of the guys I cut won't stay on the roster. We'll maybe have to keep track of that. But let's move on and see where these guys ended up. Alright, so we're in the preseason. Let's dive into the rosters. We'll see if we can find these guys. We'll just go by position. We'll go alphabetically by name. I think that's be the quickest way to find them. Okay, so we ended up cutting our starting quarterback. He did not transfer anywhere. I wanted to cut him because I convinced him to stay from going to the NFL draft. And so I wanted to see what would happen if we convinced him to stay and then encouraged him to transfer. And it looks like he did just go to the NFL. His name was C. Poole. There's no Poole here. And so he ended up going to the NFL, which I was wondering if that would happen. So now we know. But I'm guessing we don't get credit as a program for him going to the NFL. We'd have to look into that more. All right, on to running back. Okay, next cut we made was A. Ahmed. I got a T. Ahmed here, but no A. Ahmed. So Ahmed was I think, redshirt freshman. And so he ends up not going anywhere as well, which is disappointing. I thought everybody would find a home. But I guess if I make 22 cuts, it might be tougher for them to find homes for him. Okay, next, let's check on D. Waddle, running back. Okay, D. Waddle, not anywhere to be found. So maybe in the preseason they're not on here, but so far it's QB we kind of know why, but running backs didn't work out. Let's go to receiver. We'll check on G. Howerman. Okay, we had a G. Hewerman. Spelled the same here. I said Howerman before, but I think it's Hewerman. This is not him. Our guy was a junior, I believe. So far, 0 for, we'll say 3 on finding these guys. Let's go to tight end. See if we can find F. Cajuste. Okay, F. Cajuste. Nowhere on here. I'm starting to wonder if we have to advance another week. Let's look and see if we can find Berkovici. I think we would have saw him. B.E. J. Berkovici. That's him. Shoot, so those other guys really did not go anywhere. So Berkovici goes to Air Force. Maybe holds up as they go alphabetically. See if they can find a home for him. All right, left tackle. Let's see if we can find E. Whipple. No Whipple here. Left tackle. E. Whipple. Nothing. All right, left guard. See if we can find D. Warmack. Okay, here we go. Delvin Warmack goes to Air Force. Okay, reinforcing that they just go alphabetically. I just don't know why those other guys didn't get on a team then. Like, how many teams do they try? Is it just Air Force and Akron and then they're out? Okay, so Warmack found a home. Next at right tackle, we've got Jay McGuire. Alright, so no Jay McGuire here. Again, disappointing that encouraged transfers so far. Nobody has transferred. They just stopped playing, it looks like. Alright, let's go to right end. Then we got S. Sumalo. Okay, Sumalo is spelled S-E-U-M. Looks like he is not here either. So far only 2 guys have found a home. And these are good players too. which is shocking that they weren't able to find a spot for them. But I suppose they're trying to find the position. Teams got to have needs. They have to have a not full roster. So it's probably more complicated than we think, but disappointing that it hasn't been figured out that they could call it encourage transfers and then actually make them transfer. Okay, let's go on. McCarty. Okay, it looks like McCarty is not here either. McCarty. Not here. Let's move on to Dorsey. Dorsey, Dorsey, not here. So the encouraging transfers seems to be a little bit misleading, although this is only my first attempt at looking at this. If you've looked at it before and found something different, let me know. But so far, not looking good on them transferring, it's disappointing because they're good players too. I know a lot of times we don't always cut the best players, but if you are forced to cut players and they're good, you'd like to know they're going to a different team. All right, move on to left outside linebacker. We got Witherspoon. Witherspoon, W-I-T-H. Nothing. Here's a Whipple, but we've got, we had an E Whipple, not a C Whipple. I thought maybe they were change of position on us, but that wouldn't make sense because he was left tackle. So no Witherspoon. Let's go to middle linebacker. Jasmine. Okay, C. Jasmine. He finds a home. Guess where? Air Force. Wow, okay. So 3 of our guys have transferred. 3 of them went to Air Force. I don't know what I was thinking or hoping, but I thought it would be more intricate than this and kind of fleshed out where the computer would be able to compare the overalls, the needs, and the CPU teams would make guys transfer, and then the worst players would transfer out. And then we could say they went to Division 1 FCS or Division 2 or whatever it is, but I'm not sure what the reasoning is here. It looks like it's just alphabetically with the team that maybe doesn't have a full roster. All right, let's check out Kilpatrick. Okay, no Kilpatrick at middle linebacker. Let's go to right. Let's find Michaels. Michaels, M-I-C-H. Not here. Okay, let's go to corner. We got Yoder. Y-O-D-E-R. Nothing. We've got Pinkard and Hand. Let's check on Hand first. All right, Hand, H-A-N-D. No Hand. Let's check on Pinkard. Pinkard, P-I-N-K-A-R-D. No Pinkard. All right, let's go to free safety. We got Avery. A-V-E-R-Y. No Avery. We got Hand. Okay, T. Hand. This is our guy. Transfer to Arkansas State. So transfers have not made it past the alphabetically the A teams. But good to see that Hand found a home. All right, let's move to strong safety. We've got Amerson. M. Amerson. Here he is. Arkansas State. And Ishmael. G. Ishmael. Here he is. He goes to Air Force. All right, so that's all the guys we encouraged to transfer. Of the 22, actually 23 we sent out, 6 of them found a home, which is it's disappointing. Again, I thought they'd have something in place where the computer would be able to determine, a better fit for a team, cut somebody else off that team. The computer-controlled teams would make better cuts based on who we cut, but it looks like it's not that sophisticated. It looks like maybe Air Force and Arkansas State may be the only 2 teams that didn't have a full roster that needed these positions. I mean, because you have to take into account the recruiting class that their teams brought in. If the computer teams have to cut, then they're probably not bringing in any players. So that's my guess. I mean, to see these guys only go to Air Force and Arkansas makes me think maybe they don't do all the teams in FBS, because you got to think more than 2 teams would have openings in their roster. And we cut guys from every position, right? So you think we cut 2 halfbacks. You're telling me that there's not one team out there that has a need at halfback or any of the other positions we cut? I don't know. So my guess is that they don't offer them up to every team, but I'd maybe have to do a couple more runs of this to really figure that out. But I wish it was. Again, the CPU could determine, hey, D. Waddle from Kansas was, 81 overall. This team, their starter is at 78, and he's a redshirt sophomore. Maybe they would go after Waddle or take him on and cut their lowest rated running back, something like that. But again, it's not that sophisticated, I don't think, which is disappointing. This whole time I thought I was cutting guys and they were just going to go find a home on a different team. And it turns out they were not. They were just kind of left in the ethers of video game land. So hopefully this is fixed for 26. And again, this is just my first run through. If you guys ran through it, you guys did something similar, checked for transfers, let me know in the comments below if I'm way off base or if this is kind of what you were seeing too. And hopefully EA can kind of fix this. If they're going to call it encourage transfers, they should probably actually have the guys transfer. So I hope you found that intriguing. I definitely found it intriguing. And I'm surprised at the results. This is something I've wanted to dive into for a while. I finally found the time to do it. And I was not expecting this. Air Force got 4 of our guys. Arkansas State got 2 of them. Nobody else landed anywhere, which makes me want to recruit more precisely moving forward, knowing that the guys I cut probably won't end up anywhere, which we talked about at the beginning of the video. Making sure you understand what your roster is losing, the dev traits, the caps, all that good stuff going to kind of building a really good roster for your dynasty. So I don't know, let me know in the comments below if this affects how you're going to recruit, if you're just going to continue to recruit 35, if you didn't before. I'd be curious to know that. But that's all I got for you. And until the next one, keep gaming, keep growing, and keep celebrating those obscure victories. Game on.